Hi, Hercules. Hi, Koopaloop. You go to goats. Are you singing to me this morning? Hey guys, welcome back to K&S Get Out. I got some goats singing songs to me and they don't even know it yet, but they're about to get out and graze. Had to mow a little bit, so they've been a little patient with me, if you can call them patient. In fact, they all think they're just gonna get grain and left, but no, you guys are gonna help me with my mowing. If you guys saw our last video, you know that Shannon went back to work. And I told you that we had a lack of normalcy, structure, all that good stuff. Well, today is Saturday, so it's weekend, and it actually feels like a weekend. And Shannon, come on, go to goats. She is at an appointment getting her hair did. I think that's how the young people say it these days, right, goats? You guys get hairdos, get your hair did. What's up, Earl man? How are you, buddy? Hi, big guy. She'll dodge me out here. Yeah, she's gonna let me. That's a girl, Bluesy. Hi, pretty girl. So Shannon should be back home here in just a little bit, and I need her help with something, but I wanted to go ahead and get the goats out. And I gotta tell you, yesterday was a weird day. You guys know how afraid of wasps I am, and I'm not gonna say that I'm not afraid of snakes, but I don't have the same phobia, if you will. You gotta respect snakes no matter what. To be afraid of them, also a good thing, but I don't have a problem addressing them, taking care of them, whatever, quite as much as I do with wasps, even, to be honest. But yesterday, Bruno and I had an insanely close call. I haven't even told my dad and mom or Grandpa Doss Farms and Matt and Chad and I haven't said anything to them yet. But as I mentioned, Shannon's back at work. So I'm here by myself, and I said in the last video that I'm trying to do things a little more safely because I'm by myself and Bruno can't use a cell phone. Well, he may be able to. I could probably teach him that. And so, you know, I try not to do massive chainsaw work without at least having somebody local to me here know that's what I'm doing. You know, all the safety precautions, right? Well, one that I didn't think about was like, well, snakes. And here in the Midwest, one of the most venomous snakes that we see more frequently than just about anything else as far as a venomous snake are copperheads. And Bruno and I had one way too close for comfort. Don't mind the mess, guys. This is literally, it's just always a work in progress. But this deck box, I love this thing. It's kind of like your kitchen bar, or at least what ours was like back when we had a real house with a kitchen bar. And when I walked in from work, or Shannon walked in from work, or wherever, everything just goes on the kitchen bar, right? And then you sort through it later. The mail ends up there, your keys, all your everyday carry stuff. And that is what this deck box has become. This here is a tray that we keep in the camper for Nala's food, blah, blah, blah. And it was in this position right here. Well, I had dropped a DeWalt battery off the back of the deck box. So the next morning when I had Bruno out, I thought, I should probably get that DeWalt battery. I'm gonna forget about it. So bear with me. So I literally put a knee down right there, put a hand on the deck box here, leaned and reached around behind the deck box. I mean, I'm literally leaning, like I realize that I can't reach it without leaning on something. There's a point to this. And I get the DeWalt battery and I pull it up here and put it back on the deck box. And of course, Bruno's right there with me like, hey, what are you doing getting stuff under the camper? That's where I clean up. So I look over, and this little bitty branch right here that to me had absolutely no significance was laying right there. And Bruno alerted. And he was messing with that branch, kind of, you know, lunging at it. And I was just like, oh, what a silly boy. You know, so I was like, yeah, I get it. That branch is going to get you. And I reached over. I mean, I'm moving the branch a little bit to see if there's some kind of bug or worm or something on it. And I look a little bit closer and I see a rattling tail of a snake, which it's not an actual rattle tail, it's just part of their defense mechanism. But I panicked. I've never been that close to a copperhead unknowingly. And Bruno was right there. I mean, I'm reaching out for that twig, guys. That snake, well, he doesn't exist anymore, but he was literally right here. Check out the footage I got of him right before he met his maker. But his little tail was just a few inches behind this twig and just doing this number. And I couldn't see the main part of his body and his head over here. But I'll tell you what, my heart rate just skyrocketed. And Bruno's face, guys, was inches from it. I'm reliving it again, can you tell? I've never felt that endangered to a copperhead like that. So I pick up Bruno real quick and just hold him. And I told him I was sorry. I felt so bad for teasing him that it may have been that twig, and I didn't look close enough to see if there was a snake back there. Whew. It's still, yeah, the heebie-jeebies. So long story short, I'm holding Bruno in my arms and I'm like, buddy, what do we do? And he could tell he was so good for me and was just kind of looking at me. He'd lean his head against mine and I ran him up the hill and I said, man, I'm sorry, buddy, but I got to throw you in your crate. I'll be right back. So I grabbed my freedom stick it's nicknamed 22, I don't know. And ran back down the hill. Bruno started yelping from his crate like, hey, we got more playing to do. And I took care of that guy. But it didn't sit well with me all day long. Literally, that was one of the first things that happened in the morning. And all day long, every stick, every twig, every rock, anything, I was checking it all out. Every step I took, I'm looking straight down instead of up. I like to see the sights, but no, it was a whole new level of paranoid. So that's our third copperhead this season. And we're gonna take some time and get stuff picked up, because the bottom line is, if you've got a, tarp, if you got tarps laying down, Herc's over there treeing stuff. What you got there, buddy boy? That's a good boy, Hercules. My goats are over here hanging out, helping me clean up still. Love these guys. But with snakes, and we've run into this before with other types of snakes, but it's common knowledge that snakes are going to lay under things. In fact, I think there's dedicated social media channels to folks that intentionally put stuff down and then they pick it up to reveal, and those crazies will jump on the snake and stuff. I ain't touching no snake, especially a copperhead. At least not without some kind of tool, right, buddy? And I gotta watch out for you guys. You guys are the ones I'm really nervous about. I mean, I'm nervous for myself too, and should be. We're kind of gonna have to snake proof up around the camper a little better, keep things up off the ground. For him to be right there by that deck box, that close to the camper, my main concern is that one gets under the steps that I built, or somewhere right in that vicinity. And Princess Nala, who does not get around all that well anymore, she's our inside dog, she couldn't withstand a hit from a copperhead by any means. And she's smart enough, she's been around long enough, like, she's not like Bruno. She don't get curious about it. She's just like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with that. But it's when you don't see him. Because Bruno, when he was month and a half old, he and Shannon were out late one evening doing his last potty break, and he got hit by something on the leg. And it was pretty rough for him. So needless to say, I'll be doing whatever I can to help rid the area of snakes. I think Chad and Ray have been trying some kind of snake ball things that are deterrents with odor. I don't know. But we're gonna have to invest in something. Speaking of surprises, if you guys don't know, we've got 20 acres out here. We call this Shady Acres because we've got so many trees and it's just beautiful. And we've slowly been detaching ourselves to cut some of the trees down and whatnot. But we also fight insects, and specifically ticks, really bad. About a year ago, I got alpha-gal, the Lone Star tick disease, or the red meat allergy, and it affected me immediately. And I was very blessed and fortunate that there's videos on it, you can go get the full story, but had a friend who had just talked to me about it. And so it came to mind immediately, and I was able to overcome it in about 4-ish months' time. But that was also when I invested in all the guineas. So we've got 6 adult guineas left. We started with 12, yeah. And we raised them in the brooder with 3 turkeys, 2 toms that were the white broad-breasted meat birds, and Christina, our bronze broad-breasted, also kind of considered a meat bird, if you will. But I tell you what, about a month ago now, here in a couple days, it will be exactly a month, we hatched 9 guinea keats from eggs that our guineas laid. Guinea keats are just baby guinea birds. And I've got them in the brooder in my shed, and the one that Rob keeps telling me is gonna be my chicken coop someday. Well, it's not necessarily a chicken coop, but it's definitely a bird coop at this point. And these guys are so different than the first round that we did. My only guess as to why that is because they're not having to share any of their food, water, or the worms, the dried worms that we give them, with turkeys. Because turkeys, they ate a lot and grew very fast. Our first guinea keats, they were slow growers. To get all their feathers in, to start trying to flap and fly a little bit, it took quite some time. And I'd have to go back and look at the videos to be honest, but I remember the timers being 8 weeks, 12 weeks of getting them out for the first time, putting them in a bird run, blah, blah, blah. So our guinea keats that we have now, we've got 9 of them in there. They are growing and maturing so much faster. And if I'm being real honest, I had another scare. I came back to the land and I walked up to the brooder to take care of the birds, and I'm going to open the door, and one of the keats is sitting on the top of the door of the brooder, just looking me right in the face. I was like, dude, what are you doing out of the brooder? It was just one, and he didn't go anywhere. They are definitely a type bird herd, but he did not want me trying to get him back into the brooder. All right, Brianna, how do we get this bird back in here without losing the other birds? Don't do it, other birds. Don't eat that, man. Leave it. Got a puppy trying to eat my dead wasp. Got my birds trying to escape. No, go the other way. And don't you guys come out. Let's go this way. You're okay. You're all right. There you go. Birds don't fly the coop. You all right? Are you good? Can we not do that again? These guys are maturing so much faster than my first round. I mean, they are not even 1 month old yet. And that one totally flew up and out right here. I'd say you guys are about ready to be outside. So that was a lot of fun. And since then, no other guineas have gotten out. I've been kind of able to change how the poultry netting was on top. But they are active, and especially like right after they eat or they snack on wormies, I mean, they're flying and they're just going wall to wall. They're already roosting on anything and everything they can in there, including their water bowls. And it's starting to smell a little bit. So I brought the little portable chicken coop that some friends gave to us, and we used this with the first round of keats and turkeys, and it is time to move those guys to this. Not completely certain I can leave them out here at night yet, so it may be like we did with the turkeys and the guineas the first time, and we'll be taking them back and forth at the beginning and the end of the day. But I've got to get them out of that brooder and let them really stretch their wings, if they will, after I repair a little bit of damage that I did with the tractor bringing the chicken coop down the hill. I don't know what you're talking about. Daisy girl, what's up, Weege man? How are you, big fella? As you guys know, we take surveillance out here very seriously. Not only to protect ourselves and our stuff, but we like to spy on our animals. Today's video is sponsored by Eufy Security. So we have from Eufy the 4G LTE Wi-Fi S330 camera. And this thing pans and tilts, night vision, 4K ultra high def. So we're gonna get it up and we'll show you some footage of what it looks like. So there are a few features about the S330 that we really love. One being it is both Wi-Fi and 4G LTE. So if you are in proximity of your Wi-Fi, it will primarily use the Wi-Fi and won't be using cellular data. However, if I need to put it out on the trail, it will switch over to 4G LTE. So you've got both options in one camera. So with this solar panel, you only need 2 hours of sunlight to keep it powered all day long. And with optimal sunlight, it can get up to 1400 milliamps of power in a day. To put that in perspective, it only uses about 460 milliamps for a full day and night cycle. So 1400, from the solar panel, I'll never be worried about this thing losing power. The other great thing is the local security to the camera itself, and eufy has no annual or monthly subscription fee. So if you're on your Wi-Fi and you're not even paying for the cellular data, you're not paying anything to get all the functionality that this camera provides. The other nice thing, they send you the SIM card. It comes with a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, which will store the footage local on the camera, thus allowing you not to have to pay the subscription fee. Now the camera itself is motorized and can rotate. There's also AI baked in that we can go and customize and tell it, hey, look for animals, watch for vehicles, watch for humans. And it's kind of neat. You have to tailor it a little bit to what your needs are and where the camera is, but it really works very well. And finally, to this nerd, quality is very important. This is a 4K UHD camera. So if I need to zoom in real far and maintain detail, it will do that all day long. Not only during the day, but at nighttime. You can even get full color video at night, or it'll use the infrared and you see it like a normal night vision. So all around, this camera has everything we want in a single camera, and Shannon and I are very excited to utilize it out here on the property. So thank you, eufy, for sponsoring this video and sending the camera. We like to have eyes on every square inch out here. So this is a perfect addition to the cameras we already have out here, and we're looking forward to seeing some of the video that we can capture with this thing. You know, I have actually heard and read that most goats, or some goats, don't eat grass. I literally just mowed this at a 3.75. And so there's Bermuda, there's fescue, there's crabgrass, there's clover, and these guys will eat just about all of it. Makes me happy. I'd love to just turn them loose on this so I don't have to mow it. And then there's the weird one. He's over there scratching his horns on those instead of eating it because, you know, he does his own thing. What do you think, Spruce? Nothing. I don't think about nothing. I never think. Don't touch me, I'm grazing. Don't touch me, I'm grazing. Don't do it! Damn, mercy me, go away. My dad actually gives his goats Bermuda hay. I can't afford to give these 11 goats Bermuda hay because it's a little more expensive and these guys get to graze and stuff, so I don't want to spoil them and then have to pull them back, because in the winter months, obviously, I don't have all this for them to graze on. In fact, I was getting some prairie hay. I know I've talked to you guys about hay a little bit before, and it had some more stemmy stuff in it. So this last time I switched back to what they call blue stem, and it's basically just grass. I mean, it's just normal what I mow out here, but these guys have been going through it. And I think part of that is because it's more consistent with what they get to have when they're out here. And of course, they've got a wide variety of everything by going out into the woods and working on this hillside. But they've really enjoyed this blue stem. So this is still the active nest, and they have gotten a lot better about us coming over and being close to it. Most everything we researched before they started laying was that they don't want to see you go anywhere near the nest. But ironically, that bird that is covering the nest right now, it's one of the hens, as is this one coming in with her right here. She's making some weird noises, so I was just checking on her, but we really need to take some eggs from the nest. I bet there's between 24 and 32 in there. I mean, I can see them even protruding out. I don't know if you can see to her front left there, some on that side, and she is stretched out as far as she can be. Ironically, it's typically the males that will lay on the nest and get broody, if you will. But I think she's fired the boys because this is their however many umpteenth nests they've had now, and this has been the biggest nest they have had since they started getting destroyed by raccoons and stuff. Now you can see I have left their cover. Normally I would bring the brush hog over here, back it up here, take that stuff down. I did have to weed eat a little bit over here just to kind of try to mitigate my snake problem I'm running into, and I'm gonna let the guineas kind of mow that for me. But for us to get in there and get those eggs, I've got to try to weed eat a little path, because it is not really safe for us to be stepping through that. without being able to see down to the bottom. But what we have noticed, it almost seems like the snakes, specifically the rat snakes, don't find the nest until a raccoon or something has gotten in there and broken some eggs open. Hey bud, leave it. Come here, Herc. Bubba. Come here, buddy. Come here, big guy. You're okay. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. I'm so proud of you. Bruno would have been all up in that nest running that bird off. So hopefully she comes off that nest sometime today and we can get in there and get rid of some of those eggs before some kind of predator finds them. All right, well the goaties were out and they did a great job. Herc was trying to help me with the little chicken coop repair job, but he's not always the biggest helper because he really just wants to cuddle and hang out and love. But man, they are going to town on that new hay that I got them. In fact, the big ones, Spruce and Ouija specifically, they eat first. Harry will lay down outside of it, whatever. But look, oh man. But now everybody's gonna be ready for nap time. Mr. Herc was just in the Herc hut napping. Okay, I think I got the chicken coop ready. So now the fun part. Problem is I really need some help on this part. So I recruited my favorite helper.
I'm your favorite helper.
Dun, dun, dun. You're kind of one of my only helpers, so you may also be like the worst helper. I don't know.
I would probably say the worst helper.
I'm just kidding.
Me too.
Okay.
So I've been kind of hanging out over here, but there's something I need to get to help you real quick. I'll be right back.
See? My favorite helper. And best helper. I think I know what she's gonna do. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Saw this guy flying around.
I see him.
He's kind of scoping the place out.
Get him good. Oh, that's perfect. That's plenty. Oh yeah, boy. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you gotta have enough.
You gotta. Yeah. I mean, I want him swimming. That's gonna take a minute to pop and everything. So I tried to repair with staples. I think I put 134 of them in, only to realize this hardware cloth is a little too rigid. So I was like, you know what? Zip ties fix everything. These metal zip ties that we have out here, we build fences with them, fix chicken coops.
I've used these zip ties a lot, these metal ones.
Yeah, well, we are the second, maybe even third owners of this little chicken coop thing.
Yeah.
So this lumber down here, I mean, if I was gonna use this long term, that would need repaired. But I'm hopeful that the zip ties are kind of gonna hold the frame together too. What do you think?
Yeah.
And
Why not?
My good snippers were down in the hay shed. I didn't feel like going and getting them.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Hey, your hair looks nice.
Hey, thanks. In a ponytail?
Guess what you get to help me with?
What?
Your favorite thing, transporting guineas.
So what that means is I'm gonna hold the camera while you transport them.
Sure. I mean, I don't want to take all the fun. If you want to move one of them and hold it, then that's all you, but...
Yeah, we'll see.
I got to be honest, I have not held the guineas as frequently as I was when they were smaller because they've gotten so much faster and they just try to stay away from me, and I'm like, whatever. I don't know if we're going to bond like I did with the others, but we're going to try it today. The last one I held was the one in the clip where he got out, and I had to try to, get him back in there, and whew, we'll see how this goes.
So you're gonna do this like you did last time and attempt to carry him back and forth.
And well, yeah. I want to show everybody how big they've gotten and how many feathers they have, because the others, like I said earlier, they're not even a month old. Like 2 or 3 more days and they'll be a month old. And they're way ahead of the other guineas. They're ready for me though, and they're gonna run, so it's gonna be fun. But I can smell them, so
yeah, they stink now.
I at least gotta get them out of there so I can clean the brooder for when we bring them back in, because that's not gonna be secure enough to leave them out there overnight.
Hi, birds.
You can see their feathers now on their back really coming in the layers, because it kind of looks like they all got little fuzzy feathers. They're just sticking out, not laying down yet.
Good luck.
All right, birds, look. You don't get to peck me, you don't claw me, and you definitely don't poop on me. Deal? Okay. All right, who's first? Phil? No, Rachel. Bob, come on, Bob. Oh boy, this will be easy. See, look, now he's seen the outside and he's like, oh, this is cool. They're gonna be joining you here, dude. He's not fighting me yet. Normally when I hold him, you can feel them go forward and back, and so you've really got to be careful because they can get out pretty easily. Seeing that noise is only the one syllable, but I don't know if they're old enough yet. Yeah, he's shaking a little bit. Looky there, bird. I'm gonna bring your friends, I promise.
Okay, so this little guy is going crazy right now in here, just chirping and chirping and chirping. I think he's gonna pull the adult guineas out of the woods to come see him because they are making sounds and I think they're gonna head this way.
Honestly, the moment you get out the door with them, they're like, whoa, this is what we've been staring at that window, wondering what's out here.
Well, I also just told him, oh no. Was that the one you just put down or the one that was already in there?
The one that was already in there.
He thought he was gonna escape. I think they're gonna call the adults out of the woods.
Oh yeah. Well, and she may still be over here on the nest.
She is.
Is she?
Yeah, I looked just a few minutes ago.
So that'll make me a little bit curious what the others are gonna think with them so close to the nest like this. But see, the fact that there's technically a plank that they could walk up and down a ramp to get in and out of the little enclosed portion. And I am 100% sure when we brought the first round out, they had to use that plank.
Oh yeah.
The guineas, the turkeys.
Yeah.
And it took a few weeks, or at least a couple weeks, before they could fly up in there. You saw him, he flew all the way to the ceiling, landed here, did some Spider-Man stuff, and flew directly into that little door.
That's crazy.
These guys, there's gonna be feathers in my mouth here in a minute.
You need to put a mask on.
I mean, they're all standing here kind of rubbernecking, looking at me like,
Are we next?
are you taking them straight to the fryer or what?
Good job, babe.
See, look, the moment they get out here, I've noticed of late they've been all sitting there, and when the sun is setting on that side of the shed, they will sit there and stare at the window like they understand there's this nature out there. So the moment these guys get outside of that threshold, either they're terrified for their lives or they're kind of like, oh, this is nice and fresh air.
I think they're terrified for their lives.
Oh, look, there's Bob and Gray and one of the lavenders. Okay, we're gonna be quick about this one. There you go, bird.
Oh, here's Gray.
Look at Gray, babe. He's gonna go all the way up to him.
You're like a pro guinea catcher.
I mean, how many times have I done this now, carrying guinea keats and turkey poults? Shoot,
Yeah, I don't really know.
I think I did that for a few weeks, first round. You know, it's interesting, by the time I get out here, they've got a decent hold on one of my fingers with their claws, and when I open my hands, they don't immediately let go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like they feel either safe or secure a little bit, and they get over here, and it's not till they see their buddies cuddled up in the corner, and they're like, oh, okay, I'll go over there. They're being pretty good for me.
Here come the other guineas.
Want to meet a friend? Who is this? You see that side eye he's giving? You might have did this. Look, 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 look outside, look outside. There you go. You see this? Bob took a high point to see what's going on. And last but not least, number 9.
Hey, great job.
I don't know who's more exhausted, me or them. They're all laying down already. The other guineas have come over to see them. You know, we got a lot of advice back when we did this the first time, and a lot of people, and I think a lot of folks do this with chickens too, but to move them, they suggest getting a net, like a fishing net?
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of something that's, you know, we may actually have to do that with these guys because that was not easy. And I don't want to hurt them, you know. I want to be very careful not to break a wing or a leg or something. And I don't really know how resilient they are to being handled like that, but everybody seems fine. They're going to cuddle and tell their war stories of what it was like. We've got that larger water.
Yeah.
The red and white one. Mm-hmm. Go get it, and might bring them some wormies and scratch. We'll give them the luxury buffet for guineas, so they know that they're doing something good here.
Okay.
You guys still mad at me? Don't be mad at me.
You know, now that I'm seeing them out here in the light, I see what you're saying about thinking that they're going to be lavenders.
Yeah, you can see their
feathers are lighter.
Kind of lavendery gray color a little better.
Yeah. But I wonder if they'll start getting them like darker later. That'd be interesting.
I don't know. So we got them some water. They got an abundance of wormies.
And they got bugs on the ground to eat, that's for sure, because there's a lot of bugs over here.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, like, as we are doing this, we heard more hawks talking. Even Herc is over here at the end, which could be because we're over here, but kind of the direction that the hawks are making a sound. We heard our owl down at the front of the property make his noise. We heard his wife on this side of us make her noise. Like, these animals, man, The
adult guineas are starting to surround him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just incredible how nature just works.
Yeah.
You know, unbeknownst to us before we ever started doing this. So, like, for us, it's all so new.
Well, and I think it's like they hear them, you know, like they're making
100%.
sounds and they hear them. And
well, and they speak, you know, like guineas can make a huge amount of different noises. That's how many noises they make. You got to say noises.
Oh my gosh.
So I would assume the other guineas know what they're saying. I would assume these other wild birds know what the adult guineas are saying. So prayers that these guys all survive.
Yeah.
So Shannon's going to be putting all 9 of them back in the brooder tonight for safekeeping. I'll be sure and sneak a camera shot of that.
I've not held a single one of them yet, guys.
At all? When they were little?
Oh, I did when they were little. I held one whenever it was little.
Yeah, before feathers. They still had their little, like, furry.
I haven't held them since they have feathers, though.
Feathers, and the big one is the wings. Now their wings are way bigger than they were back when I was holding them before. I may not be able to get them out of here. I don't know. I may just have to stake this thing to the ground. But what I do know is I've got a good 4.5, 5 hours to figure it out before it's dark. These guys, as active as they are, the trick, if I'm being real honest, to put them back up would be to wait until it gets dark. Mm-hmm. Because when they can't see, you can approach them. They will freak out when you get a hold of them, but no more than they do when they can see you coming. Yeah. And you don't really have that fight as much. So that may be what I do tonight. But this will allow us to get the brooder cleaned out, get the poo out of it, get a fresh start in there. Yep. And then we'll keep an eye on the weather and the wildlife. May have to set up a sleeping bag out here in a tent and just...
You can. I'm good inside.
Okay.
Did you tell them about the hen laying on the nest over here?
Yeah, I said that she got mad at Bob because they couldn't protect the nest. So she's like, "You're fired. Get out of here. I'll do this."
Well, part of it too is I should have collected the eggs earlier so that it didn't get to this point. So I feel like that's kind of the problem right now. But
well, I collected some, but then she started covering them up real good, and every time I came out, she was on it. Now, Dad will take his chickens if they're being broody, and he's got at least 2 of them that are right now, and he will pull them off, and they're kind of fussy at first, and then he loves them. And I don't think you can do that with guineas. I think they get mad and they'll pick your eyes out.
Honestly, I'm kind of scared to even go over there and try to get the eggs out because I'm afraid of snakes. I don't know. You know, the grass is so tall over there.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I took the weed eater over there. They let me get pretty close. I was weed eating earlier, and you see how far I got. I made it a little ways, but I didn't want to intentionally scare her more than I had to. All right, guys, well, we are so excited that the guineas are growing so swiftly. We love and appreciate each and every one of you, and we thank you for coming along on this journey with us. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.